Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Squared Circle Jerk podcast. I am your host, Odell, and with me is prolonged insane laughter, Clinton Dixon Line.
I see. You actually cut out when you did the Odell part.
That's fucked up. Well, I so much for that joke.
A little bit wasted.
Fucking damn it.
It went randomly quiet when you got to Odell, and then it came back for the haha Clinton Dix.
Well, for anybody who didn't receive that audio transmission, the joke was that I was Odell Buckingham Palace.
Oh, okay.
For fuck's sake.
That's a solid joke. I'll accept it.
I want to redo. No, I don't want to redo. I don't give a
fuck. I mean, we can do a redo.
We could. Nobody would know.
All right. So our centerpiece of review today is Death Before Dishonor. Correct. But we are also covering the ROH episode from before that. We are also covering two NXT episodes, the September 26th and October 3rd shows. And we are also covering Lucha Underground Season 4, Episode 16. So let's kick this pig.
Lucha.
We open up with the September 26th episode of NXT. And we open up with William Regal in the ring talking about the investigation to figure out who attacked Aleister Black. Do we have any theories on who actually did it? Do we have like a definitive direction?
I would not be surprised if it turns out to be your boy Cassius Ohno. But I think they're just going to go for the easy route of, it was totally tomato choppers the whole time.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not Ciampa or Gargano. Anything else would be relatively acceptable to me. But I like
the only other cool thing would be like a surprise debut that they've somehow managed to keep under wraps, which is impossible for them.
Well, we're still waiting for Matt Riddle's debut, are we not? TV-wise?
Yeah, but I thought they'd... See, that's the thing, is they're completely setting up the Cassius Ohno Matt Riddle feud right off the bat, because he's all up in the business about, give me your new shiny toy and I'll break it.
It also doesn't really work with Matt Riddle's character, just in general. So, I wouldn't have it be Riddle. I'm just, spitballing it out there. I like the idea of Ohno. But I think you got Ohno lined up with Riddle first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know who I really want it to be.
I don't know. Fantasy booking warfare come to life. It was Gargano and DIY reforms as a heel tag team.
Don't like the idea. I want a resolution to this feud before we end up with them as a tag team again.
Yeah, I can see that. But they've also gone the whole... He's going to the dark side very, very slowly.
Yeah, so. But the dark side to me with him is sort of a erratic, clumsy heel. The fact that he's gotten away with this for so long wouldn't really fit with what I'm thinking Gargano's turning into. Gargano's not turning into a villain per se as much as almost a creature.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Undisputed Era come out to tell us everyone they don't like, which includes Aleister Black, the War Raiders, and Ricochet. Regal is great in this whole thing, where he's like, you're interrupting while I'm talking about the Aleister Black attack. Is there something you would like to tell us? And also comes in Cole's claiming Ricochet's ducking me. I want my title shot now, and Regal's like, you never asked for your title shot. In fact, you specifically stated that you wanted Pete Dunne to soften Ricochet up before you got that title shot. And this was some great work for the heels and William Regal. So I thought I'd give this 2 thumbs up. The end of this is that in 2 weeks we get Ricochet, Dunne, and Cole for the title. And in 3 weeks we get Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly defending against the War Raiders. And all of that should be pretty good.
It should be. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck finish is coming in for that triple threat for double titles thing.
I don't think the UK title's on the line for it.
Oh, that could be. But
so my assumption is
we'll get the title versus title thing. And
my assumption is we'll get Cole winning due to interference by a returning Bobby Fish. That's my call.
Yeah, that could be. That could definitely be. The counterpoint to that is Pete Dunne is now injured. How seriously? Like, apparently, what was Progress listed him as having a serious injury, and then amended their post to just say it was an injury.
Yeah, I think you could work him in there with a three-way as long as it's not like a groin tear a la Aleister Black, where like just standing is a problem.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think they were very clear as to what's going on, like how many titles are on the line in this match.
I thought they were. There was not that they were clear in the sense that they stated, but they talked about the North American title and did not bring up the UK title like at any point.
Yeah,
like even Pete Dunne is champion wasn't even mentioned. So I would have a hard time thinking that this is for anything other than the NA title.
Yeah. I'm totally on board. That takes a lot of the fuckery out of it, and it could be an actual match instead of guaranteed fuck finish, but I still think it's guaranteed fuck finish.
It's WWE's MO to do a fuck finish, so yeah. So, then we had Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling. He's doing a little bit of a review, apologizing for what he was becoming, feels bad, turning back to the light side, so to speak. And then Lacey Evans just sticks her nose in there to talk down to Candice. And yeah.
I was going to say your audio cut out there for a second.
Oh, pardon me. So Lacey stuck her nose in there and talked down to Candice. And, we now have a Lacey versus Candice feud, I guess. Which,
boring.
On one hand, I want to see the Green Girls get some work with the veterans because that's how you develop them, I think. However, the fact that we're not getting veteran-to-veteran matchups at any time makes the whole signing of a Candice LeRae, Candice Gargano less impactful. Like, it would be okay if, like, we're talking a 50-50 workload. Okay, you're going to do a program with Lacey. Then we're going to work you into a program with... I'm just going to throw one out that's not even in NXT. Cheerleader Melissa versus Candice LeRae. Boom. That would be good. But you're going to work with Vanessa Bourne and then Lacey and then Bianca Belair. And it's just Green Girl after Green Girl. And it's not letting us see that great match that we could see from Candice.
Yeah. Well, and they're also not letting Nikki Cross work with anybody other than basic chicks. So
you basically have, I would say, three very, very good workers in NXT's women's division right now. That being Kairi Sane, Candice, and Nikki Cross, and they're not really ever getting a chance to work together and really, really show what they can do. And I would like that change up. I like that. I'm fine with watching Candice versus Lacey if like in 2 weeks' time I'm going to get a really good match. I'm just not. That's the problem. Then we had a Velveteen Dream promo talking about him being the show stealer, basically talking about Brooklyn, Chicago, etc. And basically he's just dropping the idea that Gargano attacked Black. I don't mind this. It's fine.
I don't know. They seem to keep dropping the ball with Velveteen Dream. I understand that he is, and people really need to remember that he is very much a rookie. But they seem to interject him into high-profile things and then just forget about him.
There is definitely a little bit of that.
Like, hey, you're going to be working with EC3 for like 2 weeks. Great, and now what? You're back to the Gargano feud, which nobody really wants, to be honest.
There are better things you could be doing with Gargano. I'm not opposed to this feud. I think you can develop Dream through it, but it definitely does feel like a B track for Gargano, not the primary.
Yeah, no, and I'm fine with Velveteen Dream definitely needs all of these people: Bianca Belair, Velveteen Dream, Candice, not Candice LeRae, the fucking
Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans. All of these people, they all need development, but they're not they are gonna get places working with veterans, but they're not gonna get anywhere working with veterans for like weeks at a time. It's gonna be months at a time. You put these people on the road, and unfortunately NXT doesn't tour really. They do house shows, but I mean, you need to have Lacey Evans working with Candice LeRae for 6 months straight. Not on TV necessarily, because they're not ready for that. You need them to be working together for 4 months straight, and then put the feud on TV, and then you can have a solid feud for like a month or a month and a half, or maybe even 2. And, you need to do it that way. I don't know how they're really doing things behind the scenes, or if they're doing these things at all. But it's very clear that what they're doing isn't quite working. So they need more not top talent, because top talent gets, like, the top of the top talent gets snatched up and put on main roster for like vignettes or held off TV from us. But yeah, or buried Sanity and your boy the Perfect 10. Who apparently has a mini feud going now, so that's nice.
Yeah, but it's with Randy Orton. So
Randall.
Yeah, so he's gonna do the job. Because I mean, and to be clear, like, this is not even like an anti-Orton thing. It's like you just had Orton destroy Jeff Hardy. To have him have a competitive feud with Ty Dillinger, who you've not built up in any way, would not make any story sense.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm totally fine with, because he's starting from nothing anyway. You had the hottest fucking gimmick in the world for about 2 weeks, and that gimmick carried over in a big way. And they didn't even put him on TV until he, way to strike while the iron is in the freezer, for fuck's sake.
That's what they do on the main roster.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm fine with them doing the Jinder. If they put the title on him right now, I think he could be an overnight sensation. It's not going to be a Jinder Mahal situation where nobody gave a shit about him
it's because Jinder Mahal doesn't offer anything. He was a promotional tool to try to get into the Indian market, and that was it. It was too transparent, and the fact that he just wasn't really capable of having a good match or even like a good promo off with anyone was always going to kill it.
Yeah, they really needed to do something. You know what might have worked is, instead of the Maharaja of Malevolence or whatever the fuck, if he was a Godfather type figure, not I see myself as a ruler of men, but I know that I control things, and I'm also this big, and I'm also this built.
Yeah, that would have been better. I think legitimately almost anything would have been better.
Well, he's got that voice. You don't have him go out there, I am the man of peace. He's got a fucking voice that you could lay back, boost up his volume a little bit so he can Snoop Dogg the shit out of people, and he can use his raspy voice, never ever raise his voice even once, and just lay shit on people and control things, and don't be the chicken shit giant muscly heel with the little mosquitoes buzzing around, but the guy who is super confident, who knows he controls everything. He is the champion. These guys with him aren't little mosquito chicken shit heels. These guys with him would be, Gambino-esque type people, and they would go out and they'd put fucking hit on people.
I actually kind of think that almost something like now make it less drug induced and make it less fantastical, but the Killer Cross gimmick in Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
A kind of a more realistic version of that, I think would have worked much, much better.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But they apparently don't know how to do anything correctly at all. Oh, he's a foreign heel. Let's just do foreign heel things.
We had Lars Sullivan crushing a jobber until EC3 attacked him, setting up a match for the following week, which we'll talk about more. We had the Mighty defeat the Street Profits in I skipped a Nikki Cross thing where she comes out of she comes out of William Regal's office and is like, I want to play with Bianca again. And then just starts talking about how she knows. And the camera guy's like, Mr. Regal, what do you think she knows? who knows what Nikki knows?
No one knows what Nikki knows.
Then we had Lars Sullivan do then we had the Mighty defeat the Street Profits. Not feeling the feud. Just not feeling the feud.
There's no point.
Just not feeling the feud.
They stole my plastic cup. Get over it.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing with the cup and the chain stealing. It just seems so petty, I guess is the word I'm going to go with.
Yeah, well, and they even said in their little promo, oh, it's about respect. Like, dude, it's made out of tin foil, and they stole a plastic cup. You're supposed to be the Street Profits. You're supposed to be profitable. Just go buy bigger. Walk around like you got a 36-inch chain. Mm-hmm. Don't get that reference. I pity you.
Yeah, I'm not really enjoying that feud. Kairi, speaking of the whole veterans, green girls, it's been better lately with Kairi Sane, but she had to work a match with Vanessa Bourne here, and Bourne is fucking useless. Just so bad. Useless. Hot, but useless.
I don't know about hot. I would say attractive.
Shayna Baszler comes out, and part of her promo was very good. Part of her promo was like trying to imply that Kairi Sane was afraid of her, despite the fact that Sane had just taken the title off of her. It's like they didn't update Baszler's character after she lost the title. She's back to where she was with when she was feuding with Ember Moon, basically, where it was Ember's afraid of me, everyone's afraid of me, and back then it was realistic. She was a killer. She hadn't been beaten. But once you start trying to almost rehash the same kind of topicality with the person who took the title from you, it pretty much fails. Falls on its face. The rest of the promo was good. And I'm looking forward to the match. So, I don't know. It's call it a thumbs in the middle, I guess.
Meh.
But it does concern me about her long-term booking options, because if this is going to be something they keep going back to again and again, you don't have an Asuka win streak. So, doing, I guess, a more heelish version of Asuka without that 0 in the loss column isn't really a thing I would recommend. You got to find a different beat.
Would that be a strong 0?
Strong 0 would be a good thing, yeah.
Mm.
Then we had what I think is your favorite part of this particular episode. That was Keith Lee and Kota Reeves. So
damn it, that was good. Kota Reeves is the best petulant fucking heel. There's nobody who's doing it like him, nowhere even close. Adam Cole could suck a dick. I don't care. Because he doesn't... I don't know what it is. There's something in Kota Reeves' personality where you... At least I don't know about everybody else. I buy into the fact that he really, really is entitled to these things. It's not a gimmick. It's not a storyline. He is really entitled to these things that he like. Well, how dare you, sir? You know, he's really, really entitled to these things that you are infringing upon, whatever it is. And it's just that sense of that makes whatever he says or whatever gimmick, and when he's being like he's doing the vocal heel stuff in the ring, I buy into that gimmick, that part of his character, and Keith Lee does not.
It's because Keith Lee is limitless.
Indeed.
I keep saying this like this is a tag team way to be born. The finest limit, the limitless final.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this, not as much as you, but I enjoyed this. Basically,
I don't know.
We're getting a match.
There's something about he's got it. Like whatever, you know, it's the quintessential whatever it is. Kota Reeves has got it. He has the je ne sais quoi. The voulez-vous coucher avec moi? No, wait, that's different.
And then we had the main event, which was Tomasino Ciampa versus Otis Dozovic. And this was a match.
Yeah.
This was a very good match. There was a bit where Ciampa tried to run away and Tucker Knight cut him off. Got him back in there. And Dozovic should fall short. Loses to a draping DDT. Now, we've been talking about this a little bit on and off, is that if you book Otis really strong after this, I really like this, because it can build Otis into something, and presumably Heavy Machinery into something as well.
Yeah. I think the best idea would have Tucky take a shot, and then, maybe they're in the same boat, but you've got them both having very good singles outings, and then they're a tag team, so obviously those forces joined, and then you just fucking push them. Unfortunately, you and I both know they're going to push War Machine, and they're never going to get what they've actually really earned and what they should be acquiring.
And that's the problem, is that if you go back to Heavy Machinery as a job team, which they were there for a bit, then you've devalued your champion heel by having him have a really competitive match with Otis Dozovic, who effectively becomes a jobber then. So, please, NXT, don't fuck this up. Do it right. Then
I want Heavy Machinery and the Brit Bruisers to feud for a year. Not in any kind of hateful way, in a super competitive way.
In a super competitive, we can beat you type of way.
Superstars within 3 months.
We then go to Lucha Underground Season 4, Episode 16, where we have Matt Stryker reveal that we're getting Dragon Azteca, Pentagon, King Cuerno, and Mil Muertes, #1 contender for Marty's title. And then we go into Jack Evans versus Matanza, sacrifice to the gods.
Oh, Jack.
I had wood.
That's correct. There was a certain smug silence for the majority of this match from the other end of the team speak.
Then we had a debut of a trios team two debuts of trios teams actually that we've been looking forward to a lot, because we had Exolicious, Evilise, and Joey Ryan, Team Sexual Deviant, versus the Reptiles. And Paul London showed up to introduce us to El Bunny and the White Rabbit, aka Killer Cross.
Yeah, Killer Croc.
So we had some fun there. Reptiles retained the title when Ryan tapped out to Dogga, and then the Rabbits attacked, and White Rabbit finishes up by getting in Joey Ryan's face and going tick-tock. So presumably they're coming for Mr. Joey Ryan.
There's a good old TikTok from Crowd Chat as well.
Mm-hmm. So finally we're doing something with this whole White Rabbit storyline, and I'm happy. Let's see where it goes, and I need to know what the drug budget is.
All the Quaaludes.
Then we have the Nunchuck match, Aerostar and Drago, handicap versus The Savage, Jake Strong. And in the end, Aerostar got tapped out, and Drago made the save and then got his ankle broken. So,
correct.
Yeah. Really, really weird booking of Aerostar and Drago this season, if I may say.
Yeah, it's a little bit... the match itself was pretty good, but it wasn't, what anybody... I don't understand why they didn't put the duo... Why wouldn't this be a continuing thing? You have two guys versus one guy. This could be a feud that goes on forever.
This should have been their win. Plus, we've had Aerostar pimped out as a badass. Keep in mind, Johnny Mundo handpicked him for his team against the Reptile Tribe. Drago was a badass while he was under control of Cobra Moon, and has in the past been a main eventer in this company. So, I mean, it's a heavy endorsement of Jake Strong, which is not a bad thing, but it's kind of weird where Aerostar and Drago have kind of been on this up and down trajectory that doesn't seem to want to settle itself.
Yeah, if they got more story to tell, great, I guess. If not, then I'm not sure what's going on.
Then we had the four-way King Cuerno, Mil Muertes, Dragon Azteca Jr., and Pentagon. And in the end, Mac and Phoenix both got involved in this match.
Return of the Mac.
Dragon Azteca chases off Phoenix. Pentagon winds up winning. Mac at the end informs him that after the match, he will face him at Ultima Lucha because he is not scared. He is not scared of Mill anymore, and that it will be a death match. So
I'm intrigued and enthusiastic.
I'm enthusiastic. They did a good job with the Halloween trick or treat death match, and now we're going proper death match. So hey, let's roll with it. Then we're going to talk about ROH. This is the ROH episode from September 22nd. This was leading into Death Before Dishonor, so everything getting wrapped up for the pay-per-view. And we opened up with the Best Friends versus The Boys. Great tag team names. Great tag team names.
Indeed.
In the end, we get an Awful Waffle and Dude Buster combo for the win. Go Chucky T and Trent Beretta.
Correct. Also, I've shown the one true Kyle the Awful Waffle, and he is enthusiastic about that becoming the Kyle driver.
Ah, okay. That is the Kyle driver already. There's no becoming.
Oh, well, I mean, he's enthusiastic about it now being, and has always been, the one true Kyle driver.
And the one true Kyle continuing his feud with the Tokyo Pimp. So
nice. Does he get to, receive the ladies on the pole match?
We'll see where the Big Doug is going with that. Our feud with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows continues as well. Because
I smell a six-man tag.
Bald tag teams for the win.
Six-man tag for all the marbles. And the ladies.
And the ladies, yes. Then we had Kenny King versus Hangman Page. Kenny King gets a cheap win with roll-up tights assist. We are not fans of Kenny King.
We are not.
That's really all we can say. Then we had Dante Caballero versus Brian Johnson. And this was not a match because Mr. Jeff Cobb has no time for this match. Mr. Jeff Cobb has no time for this tournament. And just comes in and destroys them.
Mr. Jeff Cobb is done with your shenanigans and just wants his push. Thank you and good night.
And then the final match of the card was Silas Young and Bully Ray versus Jonathan Gresham and ROH champion Jay Lethal. This was pretty good. I enjoyed it. There was a little bit of tension between the heels, which I think is appropriate. And Jonathan Gresham got to do really cool stuff with his amazing wrestling ability. And in the end, he got pinned by Silas Young.
Correct.
So then we move on to the pay-per-view. And it opened up with a match that I just didn't care for right off the bat. It was Yushin Thunder Liger versus Kenny King. We just talked about we're not really fans of Kenny King. I don't honestly believe that Kenny King, based on his history, is truly dedicated to being a pro wrestler, is a big part of this. And certainly not dedicated to being like a serious pro wrestler. So to give him a win here over Liger, there's just so many people I would have preferred in this spot.
Yeah, she's, beat your... Oh, well, to preface all of this, there were two matches on the pre-show, which there was no pre-show, but so, two matches on the undercard that weren't on pay-per-view. Shane Taylor beat your boy Cheeseburger, and Jonathan Gresham defeated the Beer City Bruiser.
I kind of would have enjoyed that match.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I would have totally not had Kenny King on the fucking pay-per-view at all. And I would have had Cheeseburger versus Liger. Dude, the crowd would have popped for that so huge you would not believe.
Shote.
Yeah, counter Shotes.
Then we had the Briscoes defending their ROH tag team titles against Daniels and Kazarian.
This was a fun match.
This was very good, as you would expect from these four men. It was great. There was a lot of great teamwork. A lot of great double team moves, just great stuff all around. Kaz got taken out with a chair shot. Not really a chair shot, he kind of ate a chair. And wound up down on the outside. Scorpio Sky comes down to check on him. And then Daniels goes solo, does pretty well. Looks like he has the match won with a BME, and Jay saves Mark from getting pinned. And the one weird thing was the very end of this match, because Daniels gets hit with a J driller on the outside on the floor. Rolled in, count of two, kicks out. Then just gets finished with a J driller. That kind of scene, I don't know. It didn't crescendo at the end, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have changed up the finish, but otherwise I would not have changed a thing about this match. It was fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of finishers used that didn't pay off. It was kind of New Japan.
Then we had Tenille Dashwood versus Sumi Sakai, and this was kind of ugly. Kind of ugly too.
It was acceptable. That's about as good as I'm going to say.
Anyway, Sumi Sakai retains. There were some botches in this match. Was not great. Then we had Punishment Martinez defending his title against Christopher Sabin. Hail Sabin. Sabin had a fantastic introduction for this match. It was like great.
A minute long.
It was amazing. In the end, this was a pretty good match. Kind of your standard big man, small man match. Martinez retaining with a psycho driver and a silencer and a choke slam. And things got real. Things got very real after he won the match. Because Mr. Jeff Cobb came out. Would you like to take the people through Jeff Cobb's appearance here on this pay-per-view?
He showed up, he hit him with Wrath of the Gods, and he sauntered back off.
I did like that. Originally, he was going to leave Martinez alone, and then Martinez hits him with a chair shot. And Cobb's just like, was that a mating ritual? Poses with the title. Jeff Cobb's getting that title. That's all there is to that. Then we had Bully Ray and Silas Young versus Flip Gordon, Colt Cabana, tables match. Bully Ray's motherfucking match. And this was pretty damn good. Ian Riccaboni getting involved was a bit odd.
It's not that odd, based on the history that
I meant more the execution of it was just a little bit awkward.
No. Well, the fact of the matter is that they kind of did this wrong because they finally had they had the fucking play-by-play guy finally who has been decrying these heinous actions of Bully Ray for months and months and months. And Colt Cabana, who does color commentary, is in this match because he finally stood up to him. So you've got Colt Cabana who stood up first. You got Riccaboni who stood up during this match and came down and tried to help out. Not really, and they didn't really have him do it right. And then Bully Ray went over at the end because he cheated. This should have been a giant, huge motherfucking payoff for the faces. There's no way that this isn't a giant motherfucking payoff for the faces. And it was not a giant motherfucking payoff for the faces. And I'm left going, I don't understand.
You've got the visual payoff because the order of elimination here was Cabana got eliminated, then Bully got eliminated, then Silas Young got put through a table by Flip Gordon, but Bully Ray, because the referee was out, removed Silas Young from the table and put Flip Gordon there, so you get the visual payoff, but not the end. Yeah, the Bullies winning here was not great, particularly when you think you'd want to push Flip Gordon to something here.
Yeah,
this should be a feud that kind of elevates Flip Gordon to like that top level between this and his match with Jay Lethal.
Yeah, this is Flip Gordon's launching pad to the TV title.
Yeah, and we didn't really get it here.
No. I guess it's okay if what's their next pay-per-view?
I am not sure. I don't know the ROH pay-per-view scheduling.
Let's see. Glory by Honor, apparently.
Apologies to the audience for the typing.
Let's see. So Glory by Honor is...
Glory by Honor, October 13th.
Yeah, so that's not too far off. They're going to have... there's TV tapings, so they're going to have Lethal versus Young for the title, Bullet Club, Cody and the Bucks versus SoCal Uncensored for the 6-man tag team titles, which I'm going to assume that SoCal's going to win.
One would assume with the whole stipulation going on.
Oh my god, Marty Scurll versus Hurricane Helms.
I'm very excited for that.
Oh.
I did not know I needed that in my life until just this second.
We're going to have Hangman Page versus Shane Taylor. We're going to have Briscoes versus the Bouncers, which are Beer City Bruiser and Brian Milanes. Bully Ray versus Jonathan Gresham. That doesn't make any sense at all.
It fits with Bully Ray picking on small guys, but it's a match we've seen already, a storyline we've got already. Yeah, one would think you would put the Bully Ray Flip Gordon match together kind of to pay off this whole thing.
Jeff Cobb versus Eli Isom, who's a total rookie and is getting a title shot on a pay-per-view? Question mark?
Jeff Cobb is not the champion.
Jeff Cobb is the champion, spoiler alert.
Did he win over Punishment Martinez?
The night after.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the night after the pay-per-view, they had TV tapings, and Jeff Cobb won the title, and Punishment Martinez has apparently all but officially signed with WWE.
Where they will make him the Latin Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Are we sure this isn't something to do with like the top prospect tournament thing as opposed to a title shot?
It could be, but he won the title, so why wouldn't this be a title match?
Well, because you got the whole tournament thing still kind of going. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when the pay-per-view rolls around.
Yeah. And then Kenny King and Flip Gordon are against the Kingdom. None of that makes sense at all.
That makes no sense.
Makes the least amount of sense possible.
That makes very, very little to literally no sense. I don't think you could do a more senseless booking, to be honest.
No, none of that makes any sense at all.
Anyways, we had a brief shot of Tennille Dashwood being out backstage. Also bully whipped Flip Gordon with the chain after the match. Tennille Dashwood got attacked backstage. I don't think we got a resolution to that on the pay-per-view.
No.
Then we had Chaos tag team of who was it on this one? This was Roppongi, basically Roppongi Three Amigos.
Okada, Chucky T, Beretta, Rocky Romero, and Ishii.
Yeah. I was just trying to remember the full lineup, and they were taking on Marty Scurll, the Young Bucks. Was it Hangman Page?
Yeah, Page and Cody.
Hangman Page and Cody. I was trying to remember it was Page. This was pretty fun. There wasn't like a ton of stuff to really break down because it was kind of like, it was the New Japan multi-man match basically in a nutshell. It was really good. There were some good moments. There was some gauging of crowd reactions to the ideas of people facing each other, which was good. What was that?
Your audio dropped out again.
It got recorded. I think it's TeamSpeak that lost it on that one.
It could be.
Because my bar is still moving.
Got them bars, son.
Got them bars. And the finish was actually really, really cool because Rocky Romero goes for a suplex and Scurll counters it into a chicken wing.
Chicken wing.
Interesting kind of side note on this is that there were actually a lot of like Bullet Club on Bullet Club harm in this match, where they would like do a lot of mix-ups, like Adam Page. I can't remember. I think he hit Cody with a buckshot lariat, for example. And there was a lot of that, so I'm wondering if maybe that'll go somewhere. I don't know.
I have no idea. Maybe they're just playing up the whole, Bullet Club Civil War, and one side's not all on the same page, whereas the other side's all on the same page, and then eventually they rise up and overcome. Maybe.
Well, that's what I was kind of hinting at, is for something like that. Then we had Will Ospreay versus Jay Lethal. Go watch the match.
Correct. We had the one true Kyle watching with us as well.
It was great. It was very good. Jay Lethal retains the title, and I don't even really want to give away much. Just go watch the match.
Correct.
And the Kingdom made their return and attacked Jay Lethal. Jonathan Gresham tried to make the save. It did not work.
It did not. I'm really not sure what they're doing with Jonathan Gresham. I'm not sure why they're trying to do things with Jonathan Gresham. It's he just seems to lack a personality.
It's a bit lacking in that regard. He's a fantastic technical wrestler, but he does kind of have to find his role, because he doesn't have a Chris Benoit aura of like super intensity.
Yeah.
Like, I know people don't want to, it's like, he doesn't want to be compared to Chris Benoit. I'm like, well, I don't know. But Chris Benoit was kind of that thing where, like, a really technical guy who didn't really have much of a strong personality, but he made up with that for intensity. And Gresham doesn't have that. So he's got to find something.
Yeah. It's just, he's a fine wrestler, but no one cares.
I mean, I care a little bit in that I want to see him find his place, but yeah, I don't want him. I don't want him around the main event until he finds that. Or really on pay-per-views.
Correct.
So, we're going to finish off with NXT October 3rd show, which opened up with Nikki Cross talking about how she wants to play, and she knows. So, not really anything really advancing of the storyline there.
She does know, though.
Then we had Candice LeRae versus Lacey Evans. This was serviceable. About it. And really had a pretty crappy ending to it because it was just Candice running into the woman's right for the 3 count. And the woman's right this time looked a lot like just a slap.
And it's a really shitty move for a punch. Or a really shitty name for a punch.
I don't mind the name.
It was really, really cute the first time I heard it, and now it's just fucking cringy.
It just doesn't work as a finisher. Like, that's always been the thing. Like, if she wants to punch people and refer to it as the woman's right, and then have it just be kind of like a signature move sort of thing. Yeah, go with that. That would be perfectly acceptable. But
she's apparently the weakest fucking door-breaching Marine fucking SWAT team member, kill people with her bare hands and her teeth ever. She's apparently the most useless person that's ever had those credentials.
I've always said it, like, with her background, why is this not some kind of kick? Like, hell, I would even possibly buy, like, a mule kick as a finisher out of her.
Yeah.
With that background.
Just deep kick to the face.
Yeah, I don't... we started off on a bad note. We went to a Tomasino Ciampa promo. This was good. Ciampa is good on the mic. Great stuff. He's a psychopathic heel in a way that actually works. So, yeah, I'm happy. And it's not a delusional heel. Like, that's the other thing, is like, not non-delusional top heel. Has Vince seen this?
No.
Then we had the Forgotten Sons come out and do a squash. The slingshot powerbomb for Gunner is looking better. That's really all I have to say. We had a pretty unimpressive Bianca Belair promo. People like her promos, and I'm just not one of them. I'm sorry.
They're so transparent and so one note. And please, for fuck's sake, stop spraying rhino liner on your fucking face.
And then we had Tony Nese being asked why he was in NXT for today. And he's talked about wanting great competition, wanting to face Johnny Gargano, and then we got Johnny Gargano versus Tony Nese.
Mm-hmm.
And this made up for what was, up until this point, a pretty forgettable episode of NXT.
Yeah, this was brutal up until this point. And your boy Anthony Nice and Juanito Gargamel, I didn't know I needed them as a tag team until now, but I do.
Mm-hmm. This was very, very good. Tony Nese eventually falls to the Gargano escape. Johnny gets a win. Tony gets to look good. Tony gets to show us what he can really do, something that he's been off and on given on 205 Live, but often relegated to not being allowed to do anything. And I think everyone wins on this.
Yeah, it was a really good match, and everybody got to do all the things they needed to do, and it was pleasing to me.
We got a little history lesson hype package for Lorcan and Birch, which was stunningly well done.
Hype.
Because it relied heavily on truth and the whole storyline that they have going, which is phenomenal. Touch base on the match they had for the title against O'Reilly and Cole, or not O'Reilly and Cole, O'Reilly and Strong. And a lot of people, of course, talking about how it wasn't earned and wasn't deserved, which there have been better setup title shots, is what I would say. But having them feud prior to this with them get wins, I think is definitely easily a way to set up a title match. I think that there isn't anything more required. Then we went on to Lars Sullivan versus EC3. And you and I were talking about this, that EC3 had not had a signature match in NXT. He had not had that great moment. I mean, he was very good in the multi-man ladder match, but that's a multi-man ladder match. Yeah,
it's like they're afraid to actually put a spotlight. Oh yeah, this guy, we discarded him because we don't know what we're doing, and now he's a big star. So we're gonna have to try and diminish his star rating a lot before we actually, and it'll be like 5 or 10 years before we really actually put him in a match that maybe people will like. It's kind of embarrassing.
And to be clear, EC3 is not a phenomenal 5-star wrestling machine or anything. His thing has always been more character than substance in the ring. But he's better than what he has been allowed to show. And he came out here and he showed. He fucking showed. And Lars Sullivan showed a brutal match that both men were busted up. Which, on a related note, I swear Lars Sullivan has been cut open on his back like 5 or 6 times now, and that's got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways, Lars won with the diving headbutt, and I'm going to say it here, I have decried the diving headbutt. I hate it as a move. It works for Lars. That is a big head.
It is. There's a lot of weight behind that noggin, so it's a credible move.
It's a credible move, and it's the first person literally I've ever seen that I went, no, that fits. That fits. Maybe there was some Samoan wrestler who also did it, and that would fit because of the hard-headed Samoan gimmick. But yeah, whenever Chris Benoit did that, or Daniel Bryan has been doing it lately, please stop. Please stop.
Listen, just because your boy threw the most savage headbutt in the world and it backfired doesn't mean that head trauma isn't funny.
Head trauma is not funny, sir.
Oh, right. No, I'm sorry. I don't know where I was going with that.
So that's our podcast for the week. Do we want to quickly finish off with the Conor McGregor stuff? Just because,
sure.
It is kind of impactful to the world of pro wrestling,
MMA,
MMA,
my
crossover.
boy worked in a fucking Impact joke. Very nice.
Oh.
Your boy, Cunningham McGuggenheim, got worked like a bitch, and then, things got a little spicy.
Zubir Tukhemov assaulted Conor in the cage, although the statement has been that he threw the first punch, which is true. I've seen the video evidence. He does throw the first punch, but at the same time, the guy does jump up on the cage with Conor after Khabib has climbed out. So I'm going to take Conor's side on that one. Although on the overall thing, there's a couple of things I feel the need to point out here with the whole thing is that a lot of people want to treat Conor like this innocent victim in this whole thing.
He's a loudmouth little slut, and he deserves to get kicked right in the vagina.
Like there was someone who compared this to rape victim shaming, where it's like, oh, you were dressed provocatively, and I'm like, no. If you want to go down this line of thinking, and you shouldn't, but if you want to, this was Conor McGregor. This was a girl dressing provocatively, flirting with a known rapist, getting on the rapist's lap, giving him a lap dance, and then being surprised that something happened.
Correct.
That would be the comparison. Because you have Khabib, and you went after his family, his culture, and his religion. And in no way am I saying this makes Khabib right to do what he did. It's not. For one thing, the whole jumping into the crowd, I mean, he really could have concussed some people who were just there to watch the fight. Like that.
I don't know. He looked pretty precise on where
that
picture of him. Oh God, that's gonna last forever.
It was fairly precise. Don't get me wrong. It's still something I wouldn't recommend or condone. Is all I'm saying.
No, not really.
And the whole thing, and he has no remorse for it afterwards, and so on. Is like, I am not in any way saying Khabib is justified. No, but Khabib can be not justified and a scumbag, with Conor still being a scumbag, is my point.
Yeah, I think this whole thing's going to blow over. It's not going to... Yeah, they arrested like 3 of Khabib's team.
I think it will blow over for Khabib and for Conor. I think it will adversely affect the careers of some of Khabib's team, such as Zubair, who will probably find himself out of a job.
That's possible. But Dana White will hire him back. Give him 2 years. Dana White doesn't even know who you are. They'll hire you back. It's easy.
You're not wrong, but he'll probably forget. But like the thing with like some of Khabib's guys when I'm talking about this is like this is not their first like sort of trespass, as it were.
Yeah.
Like, Zubair is coming off a 2.5-year suspension for the PEDs. They're all, like, visa problems. So, like, unless you're doing fights in countries that don't care about that, they're hard to book. It's like someone is asking why Merbek Taisevov hadn't fought recently. And I'm like, because people from that part of the world have issues with getting visas, even if they have no criminal history. So, it could be a case of, realistically, it's not worth the hassle to Dana. So Dana says, fuck it. Like, it's not a moral thing for Dana. It's just like, how many zeros are on the money I can get from Zubair to Zubair fighting? And how much am I going to have to pay to sort his fucking visa shit out?
Yeah. But the real question is, how quickly are the double retirement statements going to come out versus...
Oh, Connor's already calling for a rematch.
Oh, yeah. And then next week he's like, oh, wait, I got my ass kicked. Fucking retired again.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, I'm like so Jones for the rematch. I'm like, really, what corrections can Connor make?
Yeah.
Unless we're talking like a multi-year period for two guys who are 30 years old. And thus, I mean, we're talking like a 37-year-old fight. That's like, not great. Yeah. What corrections can he make? Because this is the weird thing with Connor, and we've been talking about this. And by the way, if you want to see us do a podcast where we just talk about where Connor actually fits in the greatest MMA fighters of all time,
that was a funny conversation.
I am kind of down to do that if there's a demand for it.
I don't even care if there's a demand. We should totally do that. I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get on fucking Sherdog, and I'm just gonna start yelling names out, and you're gonna be like, no. No. Oh, no. Oh, surprisingly, no.
Yeah, with this whole thing is, my problem with Conor fans, I don't actually have a problem with Conor McGregor. I think he's a scumbag, but I think most fighters are scumbags.
He probably touches children inappropriately.
I don't believe that. But like the amount of like sludge in the fight business is high enough that like I'm not really even gonna fault him for it. My problem with Conor McGregor fans is they're horrendously hypocritical. It's not just that they're delusional.
What? Are you saying they might be BJJ or they might be BJ Penn fans?
No. This is different. BJ Penn fans weren't even really all that hypocritical. They just worshipped blindly. They were delusional. Oh. We're at a hypocritical level here. Like when people ask for Jose Aldo to get a rematch against Conor, the statements from all the Conor fans were, well, why would Conor do that? What's in it for Conor? What does Conor have to prove? I mean, he knocked him out easy. I mean, it's just going to be another knockout again. But when Conor loses, I mean, we got to get the rematch with Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is huge. Conor had problems with his weight. I mean, no, like he'll totally take the rematch. And now with Khabib,
and you could argue that Nate Diaz won the second fight too. I mean, it's an uphill argument, I'll grant you, but you could argue it.
Yeah. And then you've also got the whole thing where it's like, oh, he lost to Khabib. He needs a rematch. It's like, so when I ask for rematches for Max Holloway, Jose Aldo, Dustin Poirier, guys who I think have gotten, well, not in all those cases, I think, but Poirier and Holloway, who are guys who I think have gotten legitimately better since losing to Conor. And in the case of Aldo, I just feel like the knockout's a bit fluky. Aldo went in and fought very un-Aldo and got knocked out really quick. And this is my thing, is I don't think Flash KOs really prove fuck all.
No, I mean, you can, okay, seriously, if they had a rematch and Conor did the same thing in less than a minute and a half, I'd go, okay, yeah, all right, point proven, I got it. But that quickly a flash knockout doesn't mean anything. It means that you threw a punch.
It means that Conor could knock out Jose Aldo, which was not exactly which would not have been a blasphemous suggestion before the fight.
No.
But when Conor loses, we need a rematch. Like you can't, like people, like I was arguing with someone on Twitter when I said, well, I guess Tony Ferguson gets a title shot now finally. Either for the vacant title or against Khabib. And they're like, no, you got to do Conor versus Khabib next again. I'm like, so you want to hold the title up in limbo until Khabib's shit is resolved? Because that could take months. It's like, no one's interested in Tony Ferguson. I'm like, I'm interested in it. So there you go.
I'm always interested in watching Tony Ferguson get his shit pushed in.
Did you enjoy the Ferguson Pettis fight?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So yeah, there's one thing I hate in life, and it's not people who are morally wrong or whatever. It's just when you hold such a blatant double standard on things. Jesus Christ. And it's becoming horrendously common in just life in general, because I mean, not to go political, but you're seeing that with the Democrats, Republicans a lot of the time right now. Anyways, that's where we're going to call it for the evening. We'll be back next week, unless something gets in the way. We'll be talking Lucha Underground again. We'll be talking NXT again. We'll probably talk some ROH. Maybe some 205 Live. That's the plan.
Maybe. Yeah. I haven't watched 205 Live in 2 months.
Also, there's some New Japan shit we got to catch up on. So,
Hell yeah.
Hills, yeah.
New Japan shit we haven't even watched that we're going to have to catch up on because somebody is going to go to like Six Flags or some shit.
Going to the Rockton Fair and then to Thanksgiving dinner.
Who's going to get his rocks off?
So have a good Thanksgiving to everyone who is celebrating this Monday. And get off of Byron's lawn.
I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.